execute Order 66 is my thoughts when looking back at Star Wars Fallen Order. My experience with the game was great. The element of Dark Souls blended in with the lore of the beloved franchise worked seamlessly, as if George Lucas himself was playing Dark Souls and thought, fuck it, let's make this Star Wars. Some of the best moments in that game were where you felt like you had no hope. The cutscene when you are the child of Cal and you play as the Jedi feeling like you can make a difference. Even though we know what happens in the franchise, we still thought maybe, just maybe, we could defeat Darth Vader. Well, that being the case, Jedi Survivor was released and it didn't have its best starts with countless performance issues across the board. I decided to hold off a bit. Now, playing on PC, didn't want to ruin my experience, gave it a year. My name is Jack of All, and today we are playing Jedi Survivor. We are here, me, Cal, and BD1 facing off against the Empire, once again to take the hope back to the Republic. Listening to the soundtrack, closing my eyes, getting that feel like you saw a Jedi for the first time again. I boot up the game. I place it onto Jedi Master Mode as I felt this was comfortable when it came to difficulty plus performance. Having a look at the difficulties the second time, it's always worried me. Going to the hardest difficulty just means there's a larger scale in bosses' health, with subtracting the fact that if you get one tapped, you are dead. I didn't want bosses to be just squishy tanks that you put a lot of time into to kill, so I thought Jedi Master was the approach here. So, tutorial's over, and I have my very own style of Cal Kestis. He needed to have his rustic look. I didn't like this clean shaven. He needed to have full grunty beard. Looked like a boy who's been through a lot. And oh boy, this has a little bit more depth than what I thought. In the process of making this script, I was very impressed with the new systems in play. There's new perks, there's abilities, there's stances, all giving you a new unique way to play. From the beginning, the story is immersive with its cutscenes. They don't stick around too long for me needing to skip. And all the extra dialogue I can happily avoid without knowing that I'm missing out on anything. Me personally, I want to be in the combat constantly. I want to be in the gameplay. I'm not a big story person, so me that option to just stick to the main cutscenes is good. One way they implement the storyline and give you the immersion is through the droids and the stormtroopers. Their abilities, their scripting is hilarious. Love the idea that the stormtrooper was excited to finally hit me with one of his shots. So I looked him deep in the eyes and went full Palpatine on his ass. Once again, they do this great when it comes to dealing with certain types of ads. As a Jedi versus a droid, you should be stronger, so they give you the ability to still one-tap them without making it too easy, because you still get punished if you potentially miss a dodge. The first boss fights, they were awesome, they were fun to play. My only issue is the blocking system. What happens in Star Wars Jedi Survivor is as you're fighting people, there is two bars, the health bar and the block parry bar. And all the fights just seem to be a constant barrage of, I need to get this white bar down to 0 so I can do a combo on him. Could you do a full combo? No, because it would reset his bar and he'd be ready to start blocking again. With this, I feel like the enemies always had this kind of like safe ability where no matter what you've done, you can animation cancel them in their attacks. So you would see them go for a swing, you would jump to maybe try and hit them, and then they would still carry on going right through you. So day 2 of playing Jedi Survivor. Me, Cal Kestis, BD1 Adventure, looking for Seer. And the story dragged a little here. Like, obviously, the games tried to disperse from the first one that had the big introduction of Order 66 and everything we knew from the trilogy of Star Wars. We were like, oh my god, we're living this. So now they're adding more to it. But the cutscenes were a bit boring, and I found myself going from one cutscene to another, traversing the world, which is expanded, which is bigger, but potentially not in the right way. Personally, I don't like quick time events, and it seems like every single time two lightsabers need to clash with each other, we have to always go into a quick time event of spamming X to literally get rid of it. Personally, I'd prefer, if there's going to be a cutscene in the middle of a fight, it's in a second phase, a different health bar, so your player has time to reset. When combat scenes are replaced with button mashing to try and deliver intensity, I feel like it flops. I want to be in the fight. I want to be able to dodge this Jedi. I want to parry his systems and know I am going to fuck him up. So then get into the halfway into the middle of the fight, to then see them charge at each other, and you have to spam the living shit out of X. Once combat flopped, we were then back to cutscenes with loads of easy traversal. There's mild puzzles, a lot of wall climbing, and a lot of climbing up mountains. There's a lot of moving around and not a lot of killing people. Maybe I just unlocked 2 new worlds, so I can explore then. And we'll see what happens in day 3. Day 3! And, okay, there's some new cool stuff. We've got bounties, baby. We're hunting down mini-bosses. This is very cool. I haven't done much of this so far, but it's really sick. We have the Great Sword Stance, which is chef's kiss. Back to what I want. I like holding a sword, a lightsaber, like it's an absolute badass great sword, just chunking through people. It is slow, but it's so cool. And then you have the sword and the pistol, which is just fucking broken. I don't know what to say to you. It is a speed running's wet dream. Like, you dash, you literally press Y, and you start just killing everything, shooting them. We have a new dash ability that works very well with a fluent gameplay. You can see myself now jumping every 6 seconds and then dashing just to go faster. ADHD, what can I say? So they've added so much new cool stuff. It's awesome. So what's the issues? What have I noticed on day 3, Jack? Please tell me. I'll say it quietly. It's a fucking mountain climb simulator. What do I mean by that? What the fuck do I mean about a mountain climb simulator? It felt like I was climbing for hours, running from easy fights to easy fights, mediocre boss at best, parkour scene to kill some kind of drill thing that was destroying the base. Half the fucking game so far I've spent running on walls, climbing up vents, running through tight gaps, and then if not that, trying to call a mount so I can go from A to B. Where's the fighting at? I mean, add these systems into the game, but increasing the map size and trying to create more density does not mean just having more parkour areas. I'm going to call them parkour areas, but you know what I mean. Then the fights. You jump into a fighting situation and there's no real tactical abilities you can do. I don't know if this is just because I've done something wrong. There's not different ways to traverse around to maybe take the enemies by having a different advantage point. You have all these new abilities, but faced 1v1 jousting them. And that's the best way to do everything. Why can't I use BD or my AI companion to stealthily take out people while I take out others? It's like, that would be cool. The game's fluent, the gameplay is solid, the grounds and the foundations are there, the story is still relatively good. The collectibles and all the stuff to keep the game going is awesome. The bounty system, I can't wait until I dive into this. So today was the final day. I thought I would one-tap the rest of Jedi Survivor. Knowing my thoughts before, I'm skeptical because the game keeps on giving you little elements that you're like, yeah, okay, this is a game I'm enjoying, I'm having fun. And then it instantly throws you back 2 steps behind where you were beforehand. It was like, okay, the game's getting more difficult. Now we're just going back to learning a new tutorial and traversing the map using a new electrical ability. With this, it's slowed down the pacing. For me personally, I never thought I was progressing. I never felt more powerful with the abilities I used because the bosses were similar. They didn't have new mechanics you had to deal with. You literally just had to hit them. Because what was happening was I was doing the same constant attacks, realizing that the lightsaber plus pistol was the most effective approach, one tapping them until I get to the bosses. And this final part where I was like, okay, we're starting to get cool here with the story's developing. I was watching the cutscenes again and I was like, okay, this is the way forward. And then the 3 main people you fight. So you fight 3 main characters at the end of the game. One being the big final hurrah spoiler plot twist. And each fight If you attack them 3 times, you'll get to them about a quarter of their health and there'll be a cutscene moment. Even looking through the settings, the only thing you can do to try and get rid of this was, instead of it doing a push the button to win the fight, you can just instantly succeed in it. This is removing the intensity of the fight. I am not looking at the fight and understanding the mechanics, I'm just looking at it as, okay, if I hit 2 more times, we'll go into the next cutscene. And with fights like Darth Vader, it would have been very cool. We saw him for the first and the last time in the game, and it's meant to be the big hurrah. But the game has gone from trying to implement these Dark Souls mechanics to create a story narrative in a fight using cutscenes. Using QuickTime events, I've found it frustrating because I'm dying and then needing to watch these full cutscenes over and over and over again without any rewards. I didn't feel like, okay, right, next time I've got this because I understand the moveset. It was, oh my god, I have to watch this again. So what do I end up doing? I ended up going on to story mode. I don't know what, it's sad that I had to do this. I went on to the easiest mode in the game just so I could complete it, because it felt like all the fights in this game, when it came to storyline ones, were meant to be played on the easiest difficulty so you could complete it on your first experience. You weren't meant to do it multiple times. This being said, there is bounties. There is the special bosses, all of these. You've got a stormtrooper, what is he called, like Dave the Technician or something like that, which he appears out of nowhere, and he's a guy who has literally, you kill him in 1 hit. These were great experiences. All of these ones, there was ones when you had to do 2 people at the same time. You had to fight this Jedi versus another Jedi. I enjoyed these. They were exciting, exhilarating. These fights were exactly what the rest of the game should have been. Fighting Darth Vader, fighting the rest of them. These should be the exact same experiences. The cutscenes can come afterwards. There is a lot of bloating in the game. Full well, there is, unfortunately. So you're going to be doing puzzles. You're going to be doing a lot of running and traversing. How many times can I count that me going through tight gap, me climbing rails, and it's like a little bit of that is cool. Doing it every single area you need to go to was just annoying. The story was annoyingly subpar at best. I don't know what I was expecting. I think it might be because I was living up to the hype of the first game, and the first game was awesome. I don't know. My full thoughts after completing the game, story was unsatisfying. That being said, a menu popped up saying New Game Plus with new abilities and perk modes which allow you to do more damage and the enemies to do more damage, giving you additional effects in the game, enhancing your experience. Maybe, just maybe, there's a cool way to make this game fun. I didn't touch the bounties apart from one that you kill in the tutorial, so I didn't kill these. These are mini bosses and there's 17 of them, so these sound like a great experience. I know there's like fighting challenges as well. I think these parts of the game, probably where it's going to shine, and unfortunately doing the main story from just completing that alone is disappointing, because it's like I'm now going to have to, I want to go back, I want to experience, and I want to experience New Game Plus. I don't want to fucking climb more walls, do you know what I mean? I do not want to do that. I want to skip all of that. Anyway, this has been my thoughts on Jedi Survivor. I hope you enjoyed. What's your thoughts? Leave them in the comments down below. I finally ticked it off my list. It's another one that I've done to tick off my gaming catalogue. Next one is Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'll see you in the next one.